Medical staff said the team's leading scorer is suffering with back spasms. No word yet on whether Kawhi will be able to play Thursday night at Chicago. The Lakers are back in action tonight in Sacramento. Another critical game for the Lakers. They're trying to get into the 8th and final playoff spot in the Western Conference. At the moment, the Lakers are a game and a half behind Dallas. Tip-off time at 7 p.m. on ESPN. UCLA forward Adeem Bona, a 6'10 sophomore from Nigeria, was voted Pac-12 Conference Defensive Player of the Year. Bona averaged 1.8 block shots and played a key role in UCLA, allowing a conference-low 65 points per game. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Climate is king.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. 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 If we care enough.
One thing I would love to do is talk to someone. Wish I knew who. Sometimes the people who know the least say the most. Makes you wonder who you can trust. What's gonna happen? First thing I know, God is love. The next thing would be He loves me. Sometimes I'm tired of waiting for a thing or someone. Then I stop and see what He's done, and I know everything will come.
Can I just tell you that I still miss Luther. Ain't nobody like him. I miss that brother. I start this hour playing some Luther because it just so happens that Luther is the favorite artist of our guest in this hour, so I thought I'd make her smile. And you ain't gonna twist my arm to play Luther anyway. Mine or Miles, my board op. So it's nice to have a little Luther on the program today. In this hour, Pamela Dawson, the first black woman to receive the Grammy Music Educator of the Year award, in conversation with us about her love of music, her passion for teaching our babies, and the healing students get from taking these classes. I am delighted to welcome the first black woman to be so honored as Grammy Music Educator of the Year, Pamela Dawson. Pamela, good to have you on. How are you today?
I am wonderful. It's so wonderful to be here. And listen, thank you for playing one of my favorite songs. Oh my gosh, I'm sitting here like little miracles happen every day. Luther, oh, I miss him so much.
No, I miss him too. So as a music educator, as a music teacher, as an artist yourself, and by the way, we're going to play some of your music as we move through this hour. I love your harp work. It's quite amazing. We'll talk about that. I said harp, Harp. I'm going to enunciate that correctly. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But when you hear Luther, again, as a music educator, music teacher, what do you hear? Why is he on your list of favorites?
Oh, gosh. Luther has so much talent, not only his talent, but his passion and what he executed through music. When he sang, you felt every word, you felt every message that he was trying to get out there to his audience, and you were just drawn in. And I think as an educator, that was my motivation. I wanted my students to do exactly the same thing that he does.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. Why music for you? I mean, of all the gifts that you have, of all things that you could do and can do, how did music become your muse?
Music became my music. I was born in it. I was born and raised in Motown. How can you not get away from that? I was infused in it. My mother and my father were musicians. My whole family, my brothers, it was 9 of us. I was the baby girl. 8 brothers, don't tell nobody. I had that many boys in my family. I used to, so as growing up in the 60s, and the 60s and the 70s, I'm thinking, as the Jackson 5 were progressing through Motown, I was like, oh, they're going to discover the Wilson 9. That's what I was thinking. They're going to we're going to be discovered, but we didn't. But that's okay. But I was born in that, and I'm going to talk about it later. You talked about my harp, but my inspiration, Dorothy Ashby, who was the first black African American harpist in the 50s. Was my inspiration. She put me in that, and she's the one that said, "Let's get you in this music thing."
Yeah. How does a black woman choose to or get in the lane of playing a harp? I mean, of all the instruments out there, why the harp?
How does that lane happen?
Yeah.
Actually, that lane for me actually started from her, but because I was born in Detroit had a wonderful school called Cass Tech, and Cass Tech was the foundation of my music career. And we were music majors. It was just like going to college as a high school student. And Cass Tech was the only school that had a harp department.
Cass Tech. I love it.
Cass Tech in Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, I know.
So all of our wonderful black harpists came right out of there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, it's amazing to me. I've teased my friends in Detroit for years. So if you're from Detroit, the first question you ask them, Cass or King? That's the first question. Which school did you go to? And so I know there are other schools there, but that is the question: Cass or King?
King.
Yeah, that's it. I love that question from anybody I meet from Detroit. I ask them Cass or King, and that always starts the conversation. And people start giggling and laughing, and of course they rep for their schools. But that's a big Detroit thing, Cass or King. So you come with Cass Tech, and I ain't mad at you. Speaking of your playing the harp, I'm gonna treat the audience right now to a piece that you recorded on the harp. It's called Journey to the Secret Place. I'm going to let Miles play a little bit of it now. We'll play some of it coming back. But this is our guest. She's the Grammy Educator of the Year, the first black woman to be so honored last year. Her name is Pamela Dawson. This is her stuff. You're listening to her right now on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
Hey y'all, Mona Swain here from Target's new YouTube series, My Cart is Full, where we feature Black founders and creators highlighting their connection to our community. As an actor and content creator, I love using my voice to inspire young Black women who look like me. When it comes to feeding my shine, seeing myself reflected in Black-owned and founded products at Target brings me joy. Together, we are Black Beyond Measure. Learn more at target.com/Black Beyond Measure.
Cookie wants to be a professional wrestler.
I'm Cookie Serratos and I'm 11 years old.
She also wants to win all the medals. That's why Cookie and her family make every day count, squeezing out her best with Go-Go Squeeze.
Okay, Cookie, let's break for a Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze fruit on the go pouches are a nutritious snack made from 100% fruit with no sugar added.
Call Cookie!
Because when you nurture your kids, you squeeze out the best in them. Squeeze out the best with Go-Go Squeeze. Not a low-calorie food. Products range from 11 to 13 grams of sugar and 60 to 70 calories per serving.
With your Los Angeles Public Library card, you can access the latest music, movies, audiobooks, ebooks, graphic novels, and more, all for free. Check it out at lapl.org/emedia. That's lapl.org/emedia.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. Visit jpmorganchase.com/racial equity and get the tools to help reach your financial goals.
Hey Californians, are you ready to make your home ownership dreams come true? The California Dream for All Shared Appreciation Loan Program might be for you. First-generation homebuyers can get down payment and closing cost assistance along with a first mortgage to help you unlock the door of your new home. Applications open in April, so talk to an approved lender to see if you're eligible. Find out more at calhfa.ca.gov/dream or call 877-922-5432. A message from the California Housing Finance Agency.
Don't shave with that, son. You'll get razor bumps.
Nah, Pops. I'm good with Gillette's Skin Guard. How long you been growing that beard anyway? You know Mama hates it.
Yeah, had it since my last wet shave in 77. Got ingrown so bad, looked like I was growing a patch of new noses.
That's why I use the Gillette Skin Guard razor, face scrub, shave gel, and moisturize, so I don't have to worry about new razor bumps or shaving irritation.
Gillette Skin Guard, huh? Your mama's gonna love this one.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
That piece is called Journey to the Secret Place. Journey to the Secret Place, and it features the amazing harp of Pamela Dawson, who's our guest in this hour. She's the first black woman to receive the Grammy Music Educator of the Year award. We call that high cotton around here, so we celebrate her for that. March, of course, is Women's History Month, and so we are bringing as many conversations to you in this month as we can about some pretty amazing women in all different fields of human endeavor. And so in this hour, we celebrate Pamela Dawson, again, as the first black woman to receive the Grammy Music Educator of the Year award. And we'll talk a bit more in a moment about her passion for teaching our children. That's a high calling. I was teasing her moments ago when she mentioned Cass Tech about anybody from Detroit who I meet. The first thing I ask him is Cass or King. I was thinking during that break, I was once on a plane with Diana Ross, the boss. We were flying from L.A. to New York, and literally sat next to each other. Saw each other in the VIP room, and then sat next to each other on the plane all the way to New York. And we stayed up most of that night talking And I recall vividly talking to her about going to Cass Tech. So the boss, Diana Ross, went to Cass Tech, as did many, many others.
Yes.
But that story just kind of came back to me as I was thinking about Cass Tech. So if it's good enough for Diana Ross, it's good enough for Pamela Dawson, it's good enough for you. I ain't mad at Cass Tech in Detroit. That said, that said, I asked you earlier how music became your muse, and you were telling me about the harp. What is it about that instrument? I'm thinking of Lizzo, for example, who plays the flute. So there are a lot of cool sisters who are playing uniquely different instruments that we don't, think of when we first think of the things that black people play. But when you hear the harp, it's beautiful. It's melodic. It is soothing. What do you hear when you strum this instrument? What are you trying to create?
Okay, when I play, I try to create healing, because that instrument is just so beautiful. But when you think about the harp, of course, as we're taught classically, but I kind of veered off because first I was introduced to jazz with Dorothy, and then being raised in the church, I came into the praise and worship field,
Mm-hmm.
and then I started, listening to one of my favorite musicians of all time, which is Pat Metheny, and kind of gleaming off of his style, because he bridges that classical jazz feel together.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to create that journey, that feeling. Where does the harp take you? It takes you to that secret place. It's an ascending line, and because the harp touches the whole body, it lays on the body, and when you're strumming it and the vibrations just go through the body and it goes into the central nervous system, it's just a lot of things that happen to me personally as I'm playing, but even into the atmosphere and getting into our listeners' ears. So kind of one of the reasons I love it so much. And it is different and it is unique. And one of my goals, actually, as I'm progressing through my life, is to get my little black children in front of this instrument, because we're not exposed. I'm here in Texas, and my goal right now is I'm forming a 501c3 to actually start educating my little black children, because they need more exposure to what's out there other than the common instruments. We don't see them.
Yeah.
We just don't see them. And you're right. How many black harpists do you know? We know Brandy Younger. She's amazing.
Sure.
Harpista. I follow her all the time. But there's not enough. That's what I'm saying. There's not enough.
You mentioned a moment ago common instruments. You're right. The harp is not a common instrument. The flute not as common as others. But to my mind, it's not even a conversation about common instruments. It's a conversation rather just about about music, or the lack thereof, in school. When I was coming up, when you were coming up, everybody had a music class. And nowadays, I'm concerned about the fact that, given what music does, and the data on this is incontrovertible. When kids take music, when they're enrolled in a music class, they do better in their other classes. I mean, I've discussed this more times than I can count in my career, the values of being exposed to music, even in school, and yet across the board, schools are not embracing music classes as they used to. Your thoughts about that?
My thoughts about that is that I fight that every single day.
Yeah.
And the question, I get it all the time. Now that you won the Grammy, what can you do to get Congress to make it more easily that our children get educated musically? But it comes from our local schools.
Mm-hmm.
We have to fight for it. Our administrators have to believe in it. And I am a witness that I see it. The first thing we cut is the music. Oh, we don't have a budget for that.
Mm-hmm.
We can't make that happen. But like you said, the data is there. It's right in front of everybody. And how do we get us to understand? But I might get a little naysayers on this one, but when I look at our black schools, that's where we have the problem. Our black schools are not the ones that are investing into our children.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the other side, you see it.
Yeah.
And my question is, how do we get our administrators to buy into it?
Yeah, I hear your point. And you get no naysayer here. It's about resources, though. Let's just call it what it is. It's about resources. And you're in Texas, and I quote him every now and then on this one issue, and this is the only issue I quote him on. George W. Bush, of course, hails from Texas, former president. And he used a phrase many years ago that I come to time and again called the soft bigotry of low expectations. That's his phrase. That when it comes to black students, we have a soft bigotry of low expectations. And so because the expectations are low, then we don't make effort to find the resources to give these precious babies, these black babies, what they deserve, what they are entitled to, what they ought to have access to. And so I hear your point. It's a critique of the school systems, no question about it. But it ultimately comes down to resources, and I find that too often the resources that our students need and deserve are just not forthcoming, which takes me directly into a conversation about your passion for teaching. I'm working my way to that big Grammy honor that you received as Music Educator of the Year, the first black woman to, again, receive that honor. But tell me about your passion, your passion inside the classroom, your passion for teaching music, not just performing music.
My passion for teaching music actually is the passion and the love for the students. And you're right, it is a calling. It is actually a calling to be in that classroom, because when you walk in, you see the talent that lies within each one of those students that you see every day.
Mm-hmm.
So that passion is that I want to expose them, and I want to give them every single opportunity, Tavis, that I had when I was growing up. We're talking about the things that was afforded to me, but is not afforded to my students in front of me. For example, so I take it even further. What can I give them that I know that it's going to be hard for them? I make things happen. I make it happen physically, but musically. Okay, so now that what we were talking about, that passion that Luther had, how is it that Luther was able to sing like that? What did he do? So he had to connect with the music. So now I'm talking about connectivity. What do you see yourself? How can you sing that? Well, you know, what does it take that happen? Now, I realized that I was an instrumentalist, and these kids are not. They sing.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have to make them, even if they're not instrumentalists, what does it feel like to be a cello? What does it feel like to be a harp? What does it feel like to be a trumpet? And make them imitate that instrument. All of a sudden, it makes them sing differently. That kinesthetic connection.
Mm-hmm. I see why you the Grammy Educator of the Year. I see how you getting into these kids' heads and hearts. I see it and I feel it. So tell me how one becomes Grammy Music Educator of the Year. As I mentioned earlier a few times, you're the first black woman to be so honored in that regard. But like, how did that happen?
Well, I was nominated. There's a nomination process.
Right.
I was nominated by a grandparent who actually he traveled to Hawaii with me, which, again, I afford my students opportunities that they may never have had. So we fundraise. We do everything. We go to games. We do concessions. What can I do to get my kids out the country? What can I do to get my kids opportunities to compete? We went to Hawaii.
Right.
And we did a national festival. And one of my grandparents had said, "Oh, my God, I've never seen anybody work with kids like this before. Your love for these students and your willingness to go far beyond what they can do, what they can afford, amazes me." So she nominated me.
Uh-huh.
So it's a process, and then I answer all these questions, and then I get yes, no, and then they'll put you in the top 225. Well, just a FYI, I went through the process back in 2021, and I ended up in 2021 as a top 10 finalist, but didn't win.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So this time, I went through the process. I was not, Tavis, going to go through the video process to submit a video, what I do in the classroom, my teaching techniques, things like that. I didn't want to do it because I was like, it's not worth it. A Grammy. Yeah. My students said, "But Miss Dawson, you are worth it. You need to go through this." And they're the ones that talked me in to finishing those videos and said, "Well, you just videotape yourself and just submit it." And I literally, one take, I said, "Okay, let's get a video camera in here. Let's videotape me take it." I didn't put, here's the thing, didn't put that much
effort into it.
I just do what I do every single day. It was just a video of what I do every day. And I submitted my videos. The video, though, that I think that touched the heart of the Grammy committee was, the question was, what was my greatest, the question was what was my most satisfying moment as being a music educator?
Right.
What was my biggest moment? And that moment was to be able to save a child's life. I had the opportunity to talk a child off a ledge through music, showing them how to take all their negative energies and wanting to kill themselves and take it with their talent and put it into music. And this girl came to me and cried and said, "You're the one that saved my life. You're the one. I made it to my 16th birthday because of you." That was my greatest moment as a music educator.
All right, now you got me going here. There are two or three things that come to mind immediately. I've asked this question of many people. I never asked it of the Grammy Music Educator of the Year. But I am always amazed. I am a music lover myself. Everybody knows that. I have really, really eclectic music taste, but I can't imagine my life without music. I'm just a music lover. And I'm amazed when I hear stories like these. It just reminds you of how pregnant with power music really is. That music and your intervention could help save this girl's life. Music is a powerful force. I'm really not so sure, other than love, and of course we talk about love in our music, I'm not really sure there's a more powerful force in the world than music. Maybe love, but it's a powerful force, Pamela.
It is. It is. It's powerful. And once we tap into it and realize the power that it has healed. That's why we talk about the healing powers of music, the saving power, and just how it makes you feel. It changes your mood every single morning.
No, that story is arresting. Do you know where that young lady is now? How's she doing these days?
These days, she's about to graduate from my school. She's graduating this year.
Right.
She's going off to be a music major. How about that?
How about that?
And she is doing absolutely, and one of my favorite, and probably one of the best musicians you ever heard sing in your entire life.
That always amazes me how you see these great artists, and there are many of them who have record deals and they're killing the game, no question about it. But you walk into a school anywhere in America, you hang out in the right block anywhere in America, you walk in the right church anywhere in America, and you can find somebody else who can kill it just as well as these artists can.
Yes, you sure can.
They may not be trained as yet, but they've got the chops, do they not?
They have the chops.
Yeah.
They just have not been afforded the opportunity to get where these other artists have.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you second that point. I that's my sense. I've seen it happen so many times. I've been in churches and I've spoken in schools and universities, and people will perform on the program, and I'm gobsmacked at their talent, and I can tell in that moment. Of course, they've not been trained. They've not had the professional support that other artists have been subject to, but everybody, I guess, starts out just like that. At one point, Beyonce wasn't Beyonce, and at one point, Aretha wasn't Aretha. Of course, I think Aretha was always Aretha, but I digress on that point. Speaking of Detroit, we are talking in this hour to Pamela Dawson, who was the first black woman ever to receive the Grammy Music Educator of the Year award. More with her when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. In Illinois, the FBI is joining the investigation of a deadly shooting outside of a high school in Country Club Hills last September. The mother of 14-year-old Marshawn Mitchell, Amanda Lenore, says she's surprised that more witnesses are not providing information about the crime. The African-American teen was shot while in a crowd following a homecoming football game. A Florida man is recovering after getting tapeworm eggs in his brain. A case report published last week says the 52-year-old patient recently told doctors he had been suffering from persistent migraines. A CT scan found tapeworm eggs festering in the man's brain. Doctors believe the parasite infestation was caused by the man's habit of eating undercooked bacon, which could contain the microscopic eggs of pork tapeworms. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Unleash your style in 2024 at FS Cut and Color. Get a fabulous cut and color duo from one of their expert stylists at unbeatable prices. Only at Fantastic Sam's, where hair care meets affordability. Visit FantasticSams.com to find one of their 60 SoCal salons near you.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A bad night for the Clippers. They lost by 18 at home to Minnesota, and at the end of the first quarter, the Clippers watched Kawhi Leonard walk to the locker room. He did not return. The Clippers medical staff said the team's leading scorer is suffering with back spasm. No word yet on whether Kawhi will be able to play Thursday night at Chicago. The Lakers are back in action tonight in Sacramento. Another critical game for the Lakers. They're trying to get into the 8th and final playoff spot in the Western Conference. At the moment, the Lakers are a game and a half behind Dallas. Tip-off time at 7 p.m. on ESPN. UCLA forward Adeem Bona, a 6'10 sophomore from Nigeria, was voted Pac-12 Conference Defensive Player of the Year. Bona averaged 1.8 block shots and played a key role in UCLA, allowing a conference-low 65 points per game. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. Environmental justice is racial justice.
Environmental justice is social justice.
This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary hair? Visit your local SoCal FS Cut and Color salon today and let their team of expert stylists pamper you with affordable luxury. Get a free shampoo with every cut. Book your appointment today at FantasticSams.com.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, I have a secret. I use Secret Whole Body Deodorant because more than just my armpits stink.
Oh, can I use it where my bra rubs under my...
Oh, yeah.
And what about down there? You know, my...
Totally. 4 out of 5 gynecologists would recommend it. So I tried it, and now I get 72 hours of freshness from my pits to my...
Ooh, I love that it's a spray.
Me too. And it comes in sticks and creams, too. Go get your Secret Whole Body Deodorant.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
I've got so much to thank God for. So many wonderful blessings and so many open doors. A brand new mercy along with each new day. That's why I praise you. And for this, I give you praise. For waking me up this morning. For starting me on my way. For letting me see the sunshine of a brand new day. A brand new mercy along with each new day. That's why I praise you. That's why I praise you. For this I give you praise. You're Jehovah Jireh.
I'm Tavis Smiley. Pamela Dawson is our guest in this hour. She is the first black woman to achieve the Grammy Music Educator of the Year award. Earlier in this conversation, we were talking about her harp playing and her teaching and all that she does, but she was making the point that growing up in Detroit, it wasn't just being exposed to harp at Cass Tech. It was her being rooted in a black church, which is true for so many of us. So I'm wondering if you might tell us the role that the black church has played in your musical journey to becoming the Grammy Music Educator of the Year. Pamela Dawson, the black church, talk to me.
My black church experience, oh my God, just being choir director, being surrounded, and being minister of music, and just being grounded in that love of gospel music, you know, and the messages that it brings is just like, oh my God. And you know, when we're in those positions, Satan tries to tear us down, and we just go through. But that song, people just don't understand everything that we go through, and we, as Christians, we have to keep the faith and believe that God has everything in our hands. And growing up as a little girl, who would have ever thought this little girl from Detroit would ever end up getting a Grammy? I would have never imagined it. But God had his hand on me because I was rooted and grounded in the church. And that's the reason why I got what I got today.
All I can say is amen.
That church was integral.
Yeah, all I can say.
All you can say is amen, right?
Yeah, in the black church tradition, all you can say is say amen to that. When it comes to your teaching your students, when you get into the choral piece, the choral part of your teaching, tell me about that.
When we get into choral music, because I am a music educator, it's my job to teach my students choral music traditionally. But because I was rooted and grounded in the church, I find God in everything. Okay, and that's just I just got to tell you. So people ask me, what is my secret? And my secret is the anointing. And my secret is God. Because even if we're singing a song and it's talking about being away in the woods, and I say, well, what does being away in the woods mean? And we're talking about the trees and death will never come near us because you're protected by your loved ones. But then I say, can we turn that whole poem around and say, but when we're lost in the valley and when we're going through life, that God still has us in our hand, and that if we're holding on to God's hand, that death will never come to us. And I know we're not supposed to preach in the church, but the way I save these kids, and they don't, it's that underlying preaching. That's what I call it. I call it that sneaky attack, because they don't understand that I'm actually ministering to them, but I'm not, because I know I can get in trouble for that. However, I still use God. Where is God find? Where? So when I teach choral music, everything that I do, I want to be able to say, but let's look at it two different ways. Because music is math, music is physics, music is history, music is literacy, music is everything. So we have to do that connectivity. How do we apply this in our lives? And so when I'm teaching that choral music, I break it down. We break everything down.
Yeah.
And now they understand it.
No, I get it. One of the things I'm picking up on, you've done this 2 or 3 times in this conversation. I've made note of it, or will make note of it right now. I'm sure the audience, I have a really smart audience, they picked up on it as well. And that is, and this is my phrase, not yours, but you really put these kids through some lyrical interpretation. It's clear to me that whatever you're teaching them, whatever they're singing, whatever they're playing, whatever the lyrics are attached to that piece of music, you really get inside the lyrics with these students, do you not? That's what it sounds like to me.
Yes, I do. A lot of literacy. Yeah. Yes, sir. I think that a lot of times, and my students will get on me. We talk about English and literacy more than in this class than we do in my English class. Well, you know what?
Well, you know what? I love that.
That's good.
Yeah, that is good. That's good. That's real good. I love that because I love lyrics. And I mean, I'm that guy that will still buy a record or a CD these days and go right to the liner notes. I still go to the liner notes. I want to know who wrote this song. I want to read those lyrics. I want to understand what the songwriter is talking about. And so the lyrics matter. And so for you to help these kids understand the lyrics of what they're about to sing, and to engage in literacy with them, more literacy. There ain't nothing wrong with that. So I see again, the secret sauce is coming out. I see how and why she is the first black woman to receive the Grammy Music Educator of the Year Award. More with Pamela Dawson when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Interrogating and unpacking.
That's what we do around here.
You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows the Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach,
diarrhea. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
The thing no one tells you about periods is that your flow changes every day, and so should your tampon size. Tampax has 5 absorbencies to match your changing flow. If it hurts to remove, go down a size. If it leaks, go up a size. Only Tampax has a leak guard braid to help give you up to 100% leak and odor-free protection. All-day comfort and protection for under $5 a month. Based on average U.S. consumer usage at manufacturer's suggested price. However, pricing is at the sole discretion of the retailer. Excludes 8-count pack.
Made fresh daily in Leimert Park,
Los Angeles, California.
You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
If it's magic, then why can't it be everlasting? Like the sun that always shines, like the poet's endless rhyme, like the galaxies in time. If it's pleasing, then why can't it be never leaving?
I hate stepping on Stevie. Every time I play Stevie, I say the same thing. I hate stepping on him because he's the GOAT. I love him so much. But I asked Pamela Dawson before she came on the program to send me a list of some of the stuff that she loves. And we would weave that into this conversation in this hour as we've attempted to do. Why did this track make your list, Pamela Dawson?
Oh, gosh, because that's Dorothy playing the harp, my god sister, and actually, and first of all, I'm a Stevie fan. You know, I'm going to go to every Stevie concert and stream, you know, and I think the last time I saw him, he did a tribute to her. Mm-hmm. You know, I remember asking her about that take when she recorded this, and I said, Dorothy, she's like, I wanted to do it again. I didn't think it was the way I wanted it, but Stevie said it was fine, so that's where we're going to keep it. And I was like, okay, you know. And I hung out with her in Santa Monica back in the 80s. Right. And she tried to convince me to stay out in California. But going to recording sessions with her and hanging out with her was just phenomenal. But Stevie Wonders is just one of my goats. I mean, if you ask me about any of his songs, I'm like, oh my God, I'm a Stevie fan from way back, you know.
No, you ain't got to be from Detroit or go to Cass Tech to be a Stevie fan. That's true for all of us.
Yes, that's right.
I've said this many times before, Pamela. I've been fortunate in my career, as you likely know or certainly can imagine, I've been fortunate to talk to pretty much everybody. I've talked to more musical artists than I can count. I mean, everybody from Stevie to, I don't even get me started, but in every music genre, I've spoken to pretty much everybody. It could be Tony Bennett, it could be Barbra Streisand, Stevie, Prince, Tony Bennett. I mean, just run the list. I've been fortunate in my career, blessed, in fact, to talk to pretty much all of them. And if you talk to them and you ask them who's on your list who's on your GOAT list, I mean, Stevie is the one person who is literally on everybody's list. There may be different names on other lists, but the one name that's on everybody's list is Stevie Wonder. And so I have, you get no debate from me about the genius of one Stevland Morrison, better known as Stevie Wonder. When we come forward in our remaining moments with Pamela Dawson, we will wrap this conversation with the first black woman, as we celebrate Women's History Month in March, to receive the Grammy Music Educator of the Year award. And you're listening to her right now, and I'm glad about it, on Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
My daughter was diagnosed with a rare malignant rhabdoid tumor on the spine. They sent her straight to St. Jude. My hope was gone. But when you get there, everyone's like, hey, we're not going to give up. And when you see other people not giving up on your child, that makes all the difference in the world. When I found out I didn't have to pay, I was just grateful. They saved my baby's life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chuchas opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chuchas Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
I spray and scrub, but the soap scum in my bathtub is still there.
I spray and scrub, but the burnt sauce on my stovetop sticks around.
Sprays can leave grime behind, but new Mr. Clean Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser combines the scrubbing power of an eraser with the cleaning power of Dawn to melt away tough messes on contact.
Just wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic than ever with new Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
As I said earlier, I have a really, really bright audience, and they don't need me to educate them on this. But I was reading Pamela Dawson last night, preparing for our conversation, an article about the 51 benefits of music and arts education for kids. And some of those are character and personality, brain and mind, happiness and well-being, social skills, academic performance, physical development, all these things. These kids end up being advanced in, all these areas they end up being advanced in because of their exposure to music and the arts. And so I am still chagrined, as I said earlier in this conversation, that so many schools these days don't have music programs or arts programs. But thankfully, Pamela Dawson gets a chance to do every day what she loves to do, what she was born to do, her calling, her vocation, not a job, but the reason why she is here on planet Earth. And for what she does every day, she was honored to be the first black woman to receive the Grammy Music Educator of the Year Award. And here in March, Women's History Month, we are celebrating black women all month long in different areas of human engagement and endeavor. So, Pamela, I got about 3 minutes left. Let me ask you a couple things right quick. One, so when you become the Grammy Educator of the Year, how does it change your life to the extent that it does?
It changes. Like everybody calls you and say, "Hey, can you come over work with my choir? Can you come and speak? And can you come and tell us what did you do? What is your secret?" Which is great. I mean, and I'm loving that I have a greater audience to educate, and that's what because now the doors are opening for me to teach other teachers to do what I do, and that is probably the most exciting thing about it. You know, people think that my life changed dramatically. Not really, but I love the doors that are opening for me because, like I said, I love education, and I'm loving educating others.
Yeah.
So
forgive me for asking this because I don't know, so I want to make sure I don't want to say the wrong thing here. Is Dorothy Ashby still living?
No, she died in 84.
84, okay.
She died of cancer. I think it was 84.
Right.
Died of cancer early, young age. She was in her 50s.
Yeah.
But she a pioneer back in her days. And you know, back in the 50s, whoever heard of a black harpist?
Harpist, yeah.
Coming up, 11 albums. Can you believe that? Where is her Grammy? That's what I said. Where is her Grammy? You know, but just amazing. And like I said, she is my.
I'm sorry. Finish your sentence. Your
hero.
hero.
She's my hero.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I asked that question because I know that wherever she is, and now I know that she's made a transition. She is smiling at you, having received the Grammy Music Educator of the Year Award, given that she was your inspiration to first play the harp. And I love that we got a chance to play Stevie's If It's Magic and hearing Dorothy Ashby on that beautiful harp rendition with Stevie. And to know that she was your inspiration for you to pick up that instrument, a not so common instrument, and to perfect it and to do your own recordings and then to start teaching babies and to win the Grammy Educator of the Year Award. I know she is smiling down on you. Here's my final question, my exit question. You told us a story earlier in this hour how it was the kids that really kind of beat you up and forced you and challenged you to do that video and get that paperwork filled out, given that you were nominated for this award. So when the kids heard that you'd received this award that they had pushed you to do the paperwork for, how did the kids respond?
Oh my gosh, they were so excited. They lost their mind. They were probably my biggest fan club. And so when I won the award, the first thing I did, you know, they were going to ship it back to Texas.
Right.
And I promised them I would not open it until I was in their presence.
Oh.
So I had it shipped back to Texas in the FedEx box.
Right.
Had a big reception for all of my students and my alumni students. Yeah. And I would not open that box until because it was them that allowed me to receive that award.
That's how you close the show. And that is the heart of a real teacher. And that is why every one of us, I've spoken in so many teacher conferences around this country, been invited to present. I've interviewed teachers and, of course, talked about 1,000 times on my programs over the years. And I tell people all the time, those who are teachers, that your students are going to remember you one way or the other. How they remember you is up to you. How they recall you is up to you.
That's true.
And so I am just delighted to know that you waited till that Grammy arrived in Texas and opened it with your students in the room, and I know that was a great day for all. So congratulations once again to Pamela Dawson, the first black woman to receive the Grammy Music Educator of the Year Award. I've enjoyed this conversation immensely, Pamela. All the best to you and your students. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good to have you on. Just like that, 3 hours is gone. Back here tomorrow, Lord willing, to do it all over again. Until then, thanks for tuning in to Tavis Smiley. And as always, keep the faith.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. In Illinois, the FBI is joining the investigation of a deadly shooting outside of a high school in Country Club Hills last September. The mother of 14-year-old Marshawn Mitchell, Amanda Lenore, says she's surprised that more witnesses are not providing information about the crime. The African-American teen was shot while in a crowd following a homecoming football game. A Florida man is recovering after getting tapeworm eggs in his brain. A case report published last week says the 52-year-old patient recently told doctors he had been suffering from persistent migraines. A CT scan found tapeworm eggs festering in the man's brain. Doctors believe the parasite infestation was caused by the man's habit of eating undercooked bacon, which could contain the microscopic eggs of pork tapeworms. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Unleash your style in 2024 at FS Cut and Color. Get a fabulous cut and color duo from one of their expert stylists at unbeatable prices. Only at Fantastic Sam's, where hair care meets affordability. Visit FantasticSams.com to find one of their 60 SoCal salons near you.
This is the KBLA